Dear students, today I am going to tell you the summary of the poem Dust of Snow, composed by Robert Frost. Dear students, it is a simple and short poem, yet having a deeper and larger meaning. In this poem, the poet explains how an act as petty as experiencing snow on one's body can brighten one's day up. Dear students, here I am going to do line by line explanation. So you have to sit on the screen on which NCERT chapter Dust of Snow is visible. See towards the line and listen the explanation. Now, moving ahead, the way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Dear students, in these lines, hemlock tree, which is mentioned here, it is a poisonous tree with small white flowers. Dear students, the poem is set in a scene where the poet is in a bad mood and is walking by a tree, a hemlock tree. Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree, as I told you before too. He passes by. A crow happens to throw some snow dust on him. Students, in this poem, it is not clearly mentioned that the snowflakes fell upon his head or shoulders. There is no specific mention about this. Also, you will be left in doubt about the bird's specific action, that by what action the snowflakes fell on the visitor. Whether the crow was landing, shivering with cold, readjusting itself on the branch, or taking off. But it happened to send some particles of snow upon the author. Here, the two agents of nature, the hemlock tree and the crow, are signifiers of sadness and gloom, just like the poet's mood was in the opening scene. The poet was very sad. Moving ahead, next lines has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Rued means held in regret. For now, explanation for the lines. For reasons unknown, the author was having a terrible day, but the falling of the snow on his head lifted his mood instantly. He had already spent his day in a bad mood, but the rest of it was saved by the crow and the hemlock tree. Generally, hemlock tree and crow are used for negative references, but the poet used them beautifully to portray that inauspicious things that can bring joy and happiness too. Students, always remember there are two faces of a coin, and the same is depicted by the poet here. One must not take things for granted and should be open and accept whichever way the nature chooses to bless us. Listen to the poem clearly, read it again and again, and try to understand it. Students, always remember if there is something negative, there is a positive too. The same mood, the same motto is depicted in this poem, and which was clearly altered and converted by the poet. Understand it? Thank you.